Hey guys, NosferKitty here, and we are back with Reanimation scheme. It is morning after the weird attack. I guess you can call it an attack. I don't know if it's an attack. Sebastian seems to think it's an attack. And we have just finished eating breakfast, and we are now trying to figure out what the heck we want to do. We could explore the headquarters, go out into the city, or rest in our room, which I don't think I want to do. So, I kind of feel like I want to do this. This is fun, but I want to do this. And once again, any big apologies for any gardening background noises you may hear. It is still Friday, and it is still gardening day, so we're gonna do this. I guess I can just walk around headquarters. It's been years since I was last here, and much has changed since then. It would be a good idea to familiarize myself with the surroundings again. Standing up with a stretch, I cast one last look of regret at the remaining food that I couldn't finish, and leave the hall. I wander aimlessly down the hallways without a destination in mind. Although not much has changed in the layout of the headquarters in the past few years, with the corridors that all look identical to each other. It's a pain trying to navigate the building and remember certain routes. Can't help but grumble under my breath. Can't help but grumble under my breath. Yes, uniform architectural designs look pleasing, but has nobody considered how confusing or it is for unfamiliar visitors? Eventually, I found myself outside the library. Aldrius is probably in there again, if I have to guess. Maybe I should drop by to say hello. I've got nothing better to do anyway. There he is! My guess proves to be accurate. I quickly find my red-headed best friend among the shelves lining the walls of the library. Curiously enough, he's sitting cross-legged on the floor instead of taking a chair, leaning against a shelf. His head is bowed, his nose almost buried in the massive tome in his lap. All around him, there are scattered papers and open books lying on the floor. Staring at the state of this mess, I'm surprised the librarian hasn't thrown him out by the ear yet.
Aldrius?
There's no reply. He remains lost in the book he's reading.
Aldi!
It's time to come back to the living room. As I approach, I become aware of the deep frown etched in his forehead. His mouth is twisted into a thin line that conveys his frustration.
Hey!
Are you all right? I reach out and pat his shoulder to grab his attention. A loud gasp escapes him, and as he jerks from my touch in shock, his head snaps back, colliding with the wooden shelf behind him.
I'm sorry.
I didn't notice you here. Aldrius lets out a small hiss of pain, his hand flying to the back of his head to rub at the sore spot.
Oh.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to scare you.
Sorry.
Are you alright?
Yes.
I'm fine. I lower myself to the floor next to him, and he shifts some books aside to make room for me. What's with all this?
Oh.
I've just been researching. Every day, I wonder what the Authority was thinking by assigning you to be a reanimator instead of a scholar. Aldrius gives a low chuckle and turns his face away.
I mean...
I'm not good at any of it. I just enjoy reading and learning, and thinking.
Well...
You're better at it than I am, at least. I couldn't understand anything the scholars were saying during the meeting. A thought occurs to me then, and I nudge Aldrius in the side with a half-smile. Actually, do you have any brilliant insight to share with me? I'll split the rewards in half with you. Come on, help a best friend out!
I'm sorry.
You know I would if I could. I'm just as stumped as the rest are. Well, at least, can you explain to me what the schools of magic theory... Can you explain to me the schools of magic theory that the scholars were arguing about yesterday? Which one should I be supporting? So I can make an intelligent remark or two at the next meeting, and maybe give Kavachos a good impression. I wink at him, but Aldrius scowls, the frustration I saw earlier returning to his face. Neither.
What?
All the scholars talk about are the different schools of magic theory. They don't dare to think outside the box. Even when something clearly contradicts their respective theories, they either dismiss the evidence as false, or they forcefully twist it so that it would fit within the scope of their theories. This is why research on magic has stagnated so much in recent years. The scholars' way of thinking is restricted by what they already know, so much so that it's keeping them from discovering more of what they don't know yet. Aldrius launches into a ramble, the words pouring out of his mouth non-stop like a flowing current. The gentleness that always lines his face has been replaced by something harder, more determined. The shyness and uncertainty give way to confidence as he continues to speak with assurance and conviction. I think I've made a mistake in raising this topic. I had forgotten that this was once of the subject he feels very passionate about, and would not shut up once he gets the chance. Ziana, I remember his passionate speeches from when we were younger and in the academy, but I don't remember them being on this level. Right as I'm starting to despair over how I will stop Aldrius's rant, we're interrupted by a sudden pulse in my magic in my pouch. What? Oh. Frowning, I pull out the pocket communication mirror and flip it open. Just as I thought, a soft purple glow covers the surface of the mirror. Who's trying to contact me? What do they want? I direct a small stream of magic essence at the mirror to allow the communication. A face appears on the surface, slightly distorted by the purple swirl. Miss Talisko, please head to the Chief Commander's office. He has requested to meet with you immediately. As soon as the last word is said, the messenger's face disappears, and the communication is ended.
What in the name of Ziana?
I voice my confusion out loud. Thankfully, Aldrius has been broken out of his spell. He touches his chin thoughtfully, clearly having heard the message as well.
I guess?
Mr. Kavatos wants to question each death mage about their experienced failure with the summoning spell. I guess it's your turn? Now that he mentions it, I recall the note laying by my door this morning. I'd put it out of my mind except for what it said about there being no meetings for the next 5 days. Of course, I'm apparently the first one, or among the first, to be called for the session. Such luck. I let out a sigh, snapping the mirror shut and sliding it back into my pocket.
Right.
I should go then.
Yes.
Please, don't be late on my account. But it's good to see you. Thank you for dropping by to say hello, Callie. I flash him a teasing smile and reaching out to ruffle his hair as I stand up. He dodges my attack and I laugh. Had to make sure you weren't buried to death under a massive pile of books and scrolls. Though you really should tidy up before the librarian notices and kicks you out of the library. Don't come crying to me if it happens. I guess you're right. I'll do that and move to one of the tables to the back. He starts gathering all of the books and papers in his arms, then climbs to his feet with some effort. Something catches my eye, and I spot a book with a fancy cover, and what appears to be an amethyst embedded in it, lying on the ground, half hidden beneath the shelf.
Wait.
I think you forgot this one. Pick up the book and hold it out to him. Looks down at my hand. His face immediately changes and he grabs the book from me at the speed of light.
Oh.
Thank you so much, Callie. That's a very important piece of text that I needed. He carefully slips the tome in the middle of the pile in his arms.
Excuse me.
Well, good luck with your meeting, Callie. Now, if you'll excuse me. He rushes off towards the back of the library, leaving me behind without a second glance. Also, I want to know where Sebastian is because he was clearly here. Is it just me, or does he seem to be in a hurry to be rid of me? Maybe I'm overacting. Shrugging his behavior off just being eager to return to his search undisturbed, I make my way to Kavato's office. You look like somebody from FMA, dude. You really do. Come in. Hiding my trepidation, I push the door open and slip into the room. Kavatos is seated behind the desk, his hands clasped together, with his elbows resting on the table. It'd be really weird if his eyebrows were there instead.
Right.
Good morning, Mr. Kavatos. I nod at him with a polite smile, which quickly freezes on my face when I see another person in the room. There he is, Lord Waven, in all his frosty glory, sitting on the couch on the side of the room with perfect posture. Kavatos notices the direction of my gaze, and he breaks the silence with a clearing of his throat.
Oh.
Sorry, am I interrupting? Shall I come back later? Worry not. I have invited Lord Waven to join us for the meeting. That's exactly what worries me, Kavatos. Why would Lord Waven be interested in something as trivial as this? I'm only an insignificant mage among the masses. But I have no choice except to force a smile on my face and greet the noble as naturally as I can manage.
Lord Waven.
Hello again, Lord Waven.
Ms. Talisko.
Please be seated, Miss Talisko. Enough time has been wasted. I can hear the impatience lining Kavatos' voice. Muttering in my head about how unreasonably short their notice was, and I shouldn't be blamed for it, I slide into one of the chairs in front of Kavatos' desk. Sorry for keeping you waiting. Let us begin. Worry not. I only have a few simple questions for you. Please answer truthfully with as much detail as possible.
Yes.
Of course, Mr. Kavatos. He gives me a tight-lipped smile and looks down at the papers on his desk. I, too, glance at them, trying but failing to make out what they say from this angle. Callie Talisko, let's see. You've been in the position of a reanimator for the region of Serenade since your graduation from the academy, am I correct? Serenade. I still can't figure out how to Serenade. Serenade. I can't say this word.
Right.
That's right. When did you first encounter problems summoning spirits? 2 days ago, early morning. I see. He picks up a quill and begins writing on the papers. Silence falls over the room. My gaze darts to Lord Waven, who still hasn't moved from his spot on the couch or spoken up since. One can almost mistake him for a statue. I suppose I should be relieved he hasn't felt the need to say anything yet. Please describe what happened. Every detail could be useful, so try and recall as much as you can. I tense, casting my gaze downwards at my lap. I don't speak immediately, because I know I must be very careful with my words from now on. I can't let it slip that I've somehow summoned a rules-defying spirit which I could not send back to the spirit realm. I can't risk being seen as an anomaly. Who knows what the Authority would do to me if they become desperate about the situation with the spirits? Experimentation? Using me as a scapegoat for the crisis? I don't want trouble. Don't want to play any part in this mess. At this point in time, it's unwise to stand out. Especially when it's my turn to protect Sebastian.
Well...
That morning, I woke up early to tackle the list of clients whose reanimation rights were still waiting. All was well until... I hesitate. Should I mention the near-death experience when my magic was drained? I suppose it could be a useful knowledge for the death mages, and I do want the situation to be resolved as quickly as possible. If only so I could send Jory back to the spirit realm and leave the headquarters. So after the brief pause, I launch into a detailed description of what happened that morning. Kavatos listens attentively, occasionally lifting his quill to jot down some keywords on the papers in front of him. Meanwhile, Lord Waven remains quiet, but I can feel his focused gaze on me that lets me know that not a single word I've said has escaped his attention. Another minute later, I finished my story. Sucking in a much-needed deep breath, I stare at Kavatos, waiting for his response. Hoping none of my nerves are showing, I press my chilled fingers together against my lap. Or in my lap, excuse me. Please let them accept my story. Surely they can't and won't suspect anything amiss, right? I see. That is most curious indeed. You have my gratitude for sharing your experience in such detail, Miss Talisko.
Yes.
It's my pleasure. Kavatos nods. He looks like he's about to speak again. The sound of someone clearing their throat beats him to it. I start, lifting my head to look at the only other person in the room, Lord Waven. My apologies for interrupting, but I have a few questions for Miss Talisko. Kavatos' eyebrows pinch together, but he quickly suppresses the flare of annoyance with a courteous smile. But of course, Lord Waven, please go ahead. Oh, Ziana. No. I have a feeling I'm not gonna like this.
Lord Waven.
Yes, Lord Waven.
Ms. Talisko.
Why was the Authority not informed of the event earlier? I narrow my eyes in response to his icy tone. My lord, if you recall, the event involved my being 1 inch away from death. Forgive me if my first thought was to rest and recover my magic rather than contact the headquarters.
Oh?
And your second thought? Is he serious? His intent gaze upon me tells me that he is indeed very serious.
Well...
You see, by the time I woke up from my sleep, it was already late into the night. Then I found the letter from the Authority on my doorstep, so I decided to wait till I come to the headquarters before making the report. Besides, Lord Waven, I originally thought it was caused by a mistake on my part. I didn't want to bother the headquarters with such a minor matter. Lord Waven makes a non-committal sound and doesn't reply further. I have to resist the urge to roll my eyes.
Right.
Well, is that all, my lord?
No.
Not quite. You were rather late to arrive at the headquarters. Upon hearing these familiar words that he's already said to me once before, I frown and let out a sigh. And I just explained why. I only woke and saw the letter when it was very late at night. And I had to wait until morning to set off for the capital. I suppose that's a valid explanation. However, he frowns, regarding me with a cold stare. I swear I can feel the temperature in the room fall sharply.
Ms. Talisko?
Are you aware of this, are you certain of the truthfulness behind your words, Miss Talisko? My heart gives a lurch. Hiding my panic, I bite back a gasp and let righteous anger fill my words instead.
What in the name of Ziana?
Sorry, but are you accusing me of lying? Even Kavatos seems shocked by this turn of events. Lord Waven, why do you ask such a question? Is there something I am unaware of? Lord Waven pays Kavatos no mind, his focus remaining on me. What you experienced with the spell is unheard of. I look towards Kavatos for confirmation, and he nods. It's true. No other mage has reported such an irregularity.
Well...
Just because something is unheard of doesn't mean it doesn't exist. The spirit's disappearance, or our inability to summon spirits, whichever it is, was unheard of before 2 days ago. It still happened. Yet your described event does not make any sense from what we know of how magic works. Out of the corner of my eye, I see Kavatos frown as he ponders over Lord Waven's words. If that is true, if you failed to summon a spirit, your magic essence should not have been drained, particularly to the brink of death. The spell should have ended on its own when it lacks enough magic essence to sustain its channeling. Moreover, it's not possible for a spell to break free from the caster's control. This doesn't sit well with our current knowledge of magic theory. My anger grows, and I have to take another deep breath to remain calm. This part of my story is actually the truth. All I did was leave out the portion about Jory. How dare they not believe what happened to me? Well, this whole problem with summoning spirits doesn't either. None of this makes any sense in the first place. Well, not entirely true. If the spirits have vanished from the spirit realm, then it's at least consistent with our theories of magic. The spirit summoning spell fails because it cannot reach any existing spirits. If that's the case, then our questions are where the spirits have gone and how to remedy the problem. It wouldn't be a question of the rules of magic. I don't know what to say to that. My mind is starting to blink in my panic. But suddenly, Aldrius's frustrated rambling earlier at the library pops into my head.
No.
Or maybe the problem isn't me. Maybe it's that the mages are too restricted by what they've learned of the theories of magic. Once the words have started flowing, I can't stop them. I repeat what I can remember of what Aldrius said at them. This is why research on magic has stagnated so much in recent years. The scholar's way of thinking is limited by what they already know. Maybe you should stop relying on the existing schools of magic theories to explain everything. Both Kivatos and Lord Waven stare at me in surprise, as if they've never seen me before. I can't help but feel a twinge of satisfaction. Thank you, Aldrius. That is a bold claim to make, Miss Talisko. Regardless, it is one out of the it's one that is out of the scope of this meeting. Miss Talisko, are you certain that you never saw a spirit, however faint in its form, be summoned by your spell before it went wrong? Kivatos peers at me with thoughtfulness, and I quickly consider my options. No, I have to stick to my story. Not only would it be suspicious if I changed my words now, but it would also bring on further unwanted questions about the spirit that I summoned.
Yes.
Yes, I'm speaking nothing but the truth.
I disagree.
Oh, you would, bitch. Draco. What are we at? Okay.
Lord Waven.
I assure you,
Ms. Talisko.
there is something you're not telling us, Miss Talisko. His green eyes pierce into mine, and I instinctively tear my gaze away. I don't like the feeling of being seen through.
No.
I have no idea what you're talking about, Lord Waven. Maybe. Lord Waven doesn't let me finish my sentence.
I do not care for your excuses.
I'm not making excuses! Until you are willing to be honest, please remain within the city for our investigation. It takes a bit for Lord Waven's words to sink in. When they do, I leap from my seat with a gasp of outrage.
What?
Are you placing me in confinement? Under lock and key?
No.
Your freedom is simply restrained to the boundaries of the capital. How is that any different? I stare at Lord Waven in disbelief, but he seems unfazed by the accusation in my eyes. Kivatos finally speaks up, concern lining the wrinkles in his face. Lord Waven, is this necessary? Is this not a bit extreme?
Yes.
Mages are expected to stay in the headquarters until further notice in the first place. Yes, but they're at least allowed to leave the city for personal business as long as they return to headquarters. Kivatos' frown deepens, but he doesn't say anything further against Lord Waven's suggestion.
Understood.
Miss Talisko. I'm not going to stand for this. Do they think I just have to accept whatever verdict they throw at me?
No.
I don't accept this. Lord Waven lifts his chin at me, sending me a cruel stare. His lips curve into the barest of smiles, devoid of amusement, which only serves to make him look more dangerous.
My apologies.
Care to repeat that? I said that I don't accept this order. I refuse to be subject to investigation or restricted to the capital. Lord Waven's eyes narrow into slits. I can sense the threat in his voice, but I'm too angry to care.
Ms. Talisko.
You dare defy the authority?
Yes.
If the authority is being unreasonable, yes. I refuse to accept this order when I've done nothing wrong. You have no right. This is an abuse of power.
Ms. Talisko.
This is your first warning.
Lord Waven.
You can warn me all you like, Lord Waven. I won't be silenced. With these words as my last, I stomp out of the room, slamming the door behind me for good measure. Oh no! Okay, cool, awesome. Okay, that is really good. I am like dying because cliffhanger. Holy shit. That makes me wonder what the other branches would have been if I had like submitted to what they wanted. But hey. So hey, okay. Here's the information. Like, there's a link for the survey and things here. There's all of their stuff. I will be linking all of these things down below, like I have with the last episodes. This is so good. This is so good, and I'm so mad that that was the end of it. Thank you to Windchime Games. Oh my god, this is so good. When this comes out, I will definitely be playing the rest of it. Because, yeah. Hell yeah. I don't know if there's anything else I can say other than the fact that I really like this and I love where it's going. So, yeah. Please support this if you can. Like, even if it's just sharing and letting other people know about it, please share it. All the information's down in the description below. It has been for the last couple episodes. Yeah, so that's going to be it for this game. I hope you guys enjoyed it, because I certainly did. And, yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching. Please leave a like if you enjoyed. If you have any questions, comments, feedback, or game suggestions, please feel free to leave them down in the comment section below, and I will do what I can about playing these games. And I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.